The Burbs, comedy horror starring Tom Hanks, Bruce Dern, and Carrie Fisher. The entire story takes place in a very contained location, a single suburban street. We meet Tom Hanks, who, as we learn, is just beginning a week of vacation, and despite his wife's opinions on the matter, he intends to spend it doing essentially nothing, just relaxing at home. However, partly on his own, partly convinced by his neighbor, he develops a fascination slash suspicion in regards to the next door neighbors who have moved in very recently. Their house is very rundown, especially compared to other houses on the street. It looks kind of ugly, they have a ruined front lawn, nobody knows who they actually are, and there are strange noises and lights coming out of the basement of the house at night. So Hanks decides that these are all signs of some suspicious activity, suspicious behavior, and along with his two other neighbors begins to investigate. So essentially it's a comedy of misunderstandings that plays with the concept of nosy neighbors, people who are not satisfied with just their own lives and insist on making it their business to know and influence what others are doing as well. Which makes it a little bit of a weird viewing because the protagonists of the film are also kind of villains. I know that the movie was made in the late 1980s, and so it was kind of a different time, especially in terms of comedy films. But a lot of the shit that the so-called heroes of the story are doing is simply unacceptable and would have normal people calling the police immediately. However, the movie does make it clear that this type of stuff is not good, and at one point even tells you directly, straight up, that you shouldn't root for the protagonists. You should rather laugh at their excessive antics. So you've got fine performances, a couple of pretty funny gags. Tom Hanks is enjoyable as usual, and the score is genuinely terrific. But just as the movie is wrapping things up at the end, it kind of invalidates its entire point by doing a plot twist that suddenly flips the whole story and, in a way, vindicates the ridiculous behavior of the characters. And you're sitting there thinking, wait, wasn't the point of this whole thing that they're the bad guys because of their stupidity and nosiness? Why is it that suddenly we're throwing that entire lesson to the wind and doing something else for the express purpose of having a plot twist? So it ends up this rather unfortunate example of a film that would otherwise be decent, I think, but manages to ruin itself in the last 5 minutes, which is quite disappointing because it's a fun concept that is executed fairly well and then just randomly decides to forgo all of that.